to do. Because you thought Satan in the first earth age, why are you letting him beat up on you now? Well. Okay. Now, 6th verse. See, there's no reason for us not to be about him. I know in Romans, if you want a further witness, you say man is without excuse in Romans 1. But it says the heavens. What does it say? The heavens declare, what does it declare? His righteousness. Are you about him enough to look around sometime and just be blessed by his majesty? I still have it. My wife tells me sometimes we're on vacation, I want to pull over because I saw something up in the clouds I want to take a picture of. Have you seen a sunset? That's his majesty. Yes. That's his greatness. But now, before we start our journey, if you think fast, just make it up. Turn with me to 1 Chronicles 29 and verse 11. Okay? Let's see what the words say. The heavens declare his righteousness, and all the people see his glory. Do you see it? You see, if you're about him, you see it in everything. I want y'all to understand, you see it in the worst wretched beast on the earth. Because no matter how vile that someone try to declare that animal or whatever it is, you know that God had a purpose for that animal. And as far as what that purpose is, and they do their purpose, that's a good animal. Don't nobody want to eat no vulture, but if it wasn't for vultures taking up all these vile, carcasses off the earth, we'd get all them diseases. Bottom dwellers of the fish, we still want to eat them. Look at the 11th verse of 1 Chronicles 29:11. Listen now. Because the heavens declare his righteousness, and all the people see his glory. Are you about him? Listen now. Thine, O Lord, I love this, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the victory and the majesty for all that is in the heaven and in what? The earth. Do you see the separation, church? Are you about him?
Yes, sir.
Maybe that's why that thing fell today. Amen. Oh, Lord. God don't want you to see no ball. He wants you to see him. Ah, Lord. And in the earth is thine. Notice this now. Thine is the kingdom, the king and his dominion, O Lord, and thou art exalted as head above all.
Yes,
are you about him? Yes, he's above everything.
Yes, he is. He is.
Think about that. I said he's above all.
Yes, Lord.
There's nothing too hard. We say that about our God, but we don't trust him, I guess. Now let's bounce right back over to 97 and 7. I want to stop there then. We're going over to 89 and start letting us see. See, when we get all hung up in other stuff, well, I ain't worshiping no graven images. Oh, you're not. If you got a certain dress you got to have, or you got a certain boot you got to wear, or you got a certain gym shoe you got to wear, you got to have a certain car, that's, well, you can take it. Woo! Confounded be all they that serve graven images, that boast themselves of idols. Worship him, all ye gods. You know that little small God ain't. See, some folks worship a microphone. Microphone was made by man. How you going to worship the maker? Okay? God gave him the sense to make it. See, when When see, everybody think that astrology was bad, but see, it's the cosmos got a hold to it and turned it into something crazy.
Yes. That's what
See what I'm saying? See, the Egyptians, instead of thanking God for the sun, they started worshiping.
That's what they did. Yes, Lord.
34, they call it Ra.
Yes, yes.
I bet I was in. I ain't going back to that again. Back in seminary. All right, let's go to 89. See, when you worship all ye gods, you start what? See, all ye gods. That little fat man running around and they claiming a red suit. A lot of our kids worship that.
Yes, they do.
A lot of parents worship that. I better leave that alone now. But if you're about him, here's some marching orders. Do y'all mind reading a little bit with me? Just follow me now. We're in 89 verse 1. It becomes very personal. It says, I will sing of the mercies of the Lord. How am I? Forever. Because I'm about him. I know what he did for me. I don't need nobody to tell me about it. I know what he did. You can't take that from me. I know he healed me. Because I felt death knocking on the door. But he couldn't touch me. Woo! Now how we going to do this? With my mouth. Instead of letting some of them other blessings, see, God said blessings and cursing cannot come out of the same mouth. Anybody read the Bible? Preachers, am I making that up? I don't think so. It's in the book. With my mouth will I make known. Listen now. Because I'm about him. I will make known by faithfulness to how many folks? To all generations.
Yes, Lord. Faithful.
See, some of y'all think simply because we got this broadcast ministry that's no, it ain't even about me. Somebody watches you in here too. And how you conduct yourself in the church.
Yes, Lord.
How you move and you pay attention to the word. Do you not know that even after you and I gone, them things still in the record, still floating around in the air? Which means that all generations will see that. And y'all begin to understand why you do what you do? It's not about us. It's about him. I think that's a song. It's not about us. Okay. And that one song I love. I searched everywhere. Couldn't find nobody greater than you. Every time I hear it, I just get happy. Well, Jesus, because there's nobody greater than him.
Yes, Lord.
Now listen now. Verse 2. For I have said. Now this thing, you notice that mercy is capitalized. Mercy shall be built up forever. Ooh, you ought to just get happy. That makes me happy. That lets me know that his mercy is renewed daily. Isn't that what it says in Jeremiah? Lamentations, 3rd chapter. Which means each day, the more you be about him, the more mercy you build up. Because as long as you're in these clay pots, you're going to mess up. You may not think it's that big a deal, but sometimes you'll fall. You say, though a righteous man falls 7 times, get up.
Every time.
But after a while, when you be so much around about him and begin to see his glory, you know that he will forgive you of anything, so you just don't do it. Because you're about him. You realize I represent my Father. And his mercy is built up forever. Thy faithfulness shalt thou establish in the very heavens. Now, nobody should have any problem understanding that. Do it. Every morning, you get up, what's up there? The sun. Yeah. Every night, it rotates around. Ain't no big deal that moon or night comes. See, everybody think that's just something else. See, the world gets you all wrapped up in the time schedule, then you lose sight of the fact that every day, as long as you've been here, the sun came up. Night came. All the season came
Yes.
on time.
Yes, sir.
Now, it's a little cold out there, but yet the world is telling you it's global warming. How come it ain't warm out there now? See, but if you buy into it, they got our children almost brainwashed with that. Ain't nothing wrong with being a good steward of the planet, but you can't, they got folks think they can save the planet. How you going to save something that ain't yours?
Amen. Not the planet.
Let's keep going here now. Faithfulness thou established in the very heavens. All you have to do is go to Genesis and read through that when he set up the sun and the moon and all that good stuff. He did every star. People have been navigating by the constellations for years.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
Even before we had GPS, if y'all didn't know. They got everywhere they wanted to be just by watching what? The faithfulness of the stars.
Yes, they have, Pastor.
No charge for that, y'all.
Yes, they have.
Woo, glory.
Yes, they have.
Just like we made without them cell phones, didn't we? Now we're consumed by them. I don't worship no boy, but I see you on them cell phones, y'all. It's pretty deep there. I wish you put that much energy in the word. I'm sorry, I don't mean no harm. I have, listen at this, because I'm about him, I have to do this. You have to do this. We have to do it. It says, I have made a covenant. This is what God said to us. With my chosen. Now understand, you're God's elect.
Yes, sir.
He said, I knew you before you came forth from your mother's womb. I made a covenant with you. You fought Satan in the first earth age, in the first heaven age. I have a covenant with you. But now it's up to you to exercise your will to do what I've asked you to do. To be about me, not yourself. Listen now. Now it's very important. I have sworn unto David, my servant.
Yes.
Now understand that that's true. God did say his kingdom would last. That's the reason you want to get David in there, because that leads us to what this is all about when Jesus came. See, he's from the seed of Jesse. All that comes on down. In other words, he is of the seed of Ha-Adam, the Adam. In other words, he represents that David, and not David himself, represents the key of David. Meaning you understand that there's some Kenites out there, devil's children. You know that the Lord don't come to the seventh trump. So it's a whole lot in there. Okay? Now here's another reason why the Lord said, my servant. See, David knew what God had promised him. And what does the book say about David? He's a man after what? So that means he about the Lord, ain't he?
Yes.
He's about him.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. We read that, but we don't let it. All David was about him. And the boy wasn't perfect if y'all haven't read in the Bible now. He had the same like stuff, a little lust in his heart and all that good stuff. Took some man's wife. But God still said, by what you have done, my mercies will build up for you. You're not going to die for what you did, but the sword would never leave your house. And it didn't. But what was it? Because he was about God, which means he had really surrendered his heart. He messed up a few times just like you and I do. Let's go to 1 Chronicles 29 again. See, David had a praise to God. Do you have one? I heard a song today. A song some guy got out about some kind of praise that was just orchestrated by him. I forgot the name, but y'all probably done heard it. They were good. You see, to me, this praise can't come from nobody but me, because I know what he did for me. Look at the 20th verse, though. And David, since we have him over here, we got to get another witness. Is that all right? And David said to all the congregation, now bless the Lord. That's all I'm saying this morning. Bless the Lord. When you get up that morning and every morning, bless the Lord. Is he your God? He's your God if you're with him. Isn't Isn't that awesome? Around this time of the year, all the distractions. Nothing wrong with enjoying. Go to the parties. But see, God will make you think twice before you get behind the wheel when you had a little bit too many of them, them little funny style things you get behind. Ain't nothing wrong as long as you do it with moderation. You done took a couple too many sips. You shouldn't get behind the wheel. And you won't do that if you bless the Lord and you with him. And even if you ain't got no choice, I'd rather have him in the car with me than something else. You'll see how I get home. And listen what? And all the congregation. Why? If we would do that, we could rule this whole neighborhood.
Well, Pastor.
And all the congregation bless the Lord God of their fathers. Now understand, we just read that you affect all generations. It goes back. You might not think your kids sitting up jaws tight and they don't act like they want to come, but the mere fact you made them come, when you gone, it all comes together. I think back over, I believe my mayor told you, my mother said, I wish I had a preacher in the family. I said, why she saying that? I just not realized she's telling me something. It's coming. You see what I mean? I guess she's right, because I'm up here now. See what I'm saying? We have to understand that. Now listen. The Lord God of their fathers, and what did they do? They bowed down their heads. And what did they do, church? And worshiped the Lord and the king. Now, if that was true, king represents any preacher, prophet that God might send. Who do we beat up on the most in the world? Preacher. But if you're about God, you will see. I'm not telling you. You say, don't. What did Paul say? Follow me as I follow God. If I'm one of them guys that's just out there to get, if all I talk about is money, that's all right. That's what I want. It's very simple. We have to have, one of the definitions, keep your wits about you. Meaning that when you're about him, he gives you an unction of the Holy One. And what did the book say? You know all things. How many young ladies may not have lost their virginity if they were about him? Now understand, he can control that. We can't. Remember, anything I built, as knucklehead as I am, I know how to control that, boy. When I see something pop on the screen, I know where to tweak and do what I need to do. But see, but you got to be about him, not ourselves. I'm about through for the day. Let's keep on back now. I told we're going to be bouncing in and out, so go with me. Why is it important? Parents, loved ones, teenagers, anybody that's got a little brother, little sister, or whatever, it's important that you be about him, because whether you understand it or not, let's let the book tell you. Let's go back to 89:4. So parents, I want y'all to be encouraged today by this verse, if you're about him. Okay? It says, thy seed. That's even in Hebrew, spermata. By spermata, or that which the seed, thy seed will I establish forever. Now, how do we know that's true? We must don't believe. He said, train up that child in the way it should go. When it's old, it won't depart. You might look at it and say, Lord, I know I did my best, but they out there. But see, the etymology of that, you must also learn the bent of that child. That's what it means when you break that word down. I can't say to one of my daughters, I have to say one thing to them to get a point over, and the other, and I got to say something else, because I know they're bent. Okay? And it's just the way it is. Thy seed shall be established forever. Now, the etymology is this, that inculcates Jesus. When we accept him, hey, we're established forever. It's just that simple. And build up thy throne to all generations. Salah. And that's that. That's why it's important that we must be about him. Not junk. Not thinking I need to get this, that, and other, and so forth. No. if you delight yourself in him, what he promised? Give you the desires of your heart. That means you ain't got to work for it like the world say you got to do.
No, sir.
Every young man now, they don't know why, but they feel that if I get tattoos, go ping, ping, get some guns on me, drop my pants down around my rump, I'm going to get over. Do you realize how the devil is confusing us? I'm not knocking anybody. Walk into a big corporate environment and ask for a job and you tattooed down. Hmm?
Yes.
I'm just being real with you.
Yes.
Now you got to have some common sense to hide. I'm not telling you not to do that, but don't have them all run up down your neck, cross your lip down or whatever. You're not gonna get no job. Then you're gonna get mad at them, but you made those choices.
Yes, Lord.
But if you're about him, you will hear him saying this word: "Do not cut the skin for the dead."
Yeah.
That's in essence is tattoo because what? You cut the skin.
Yeah.
And sometimes somebody, something that's dead out there, and you pick up the little hip thing about it, put it on your body. You might not think it's much. And I'm not saying God's going to put you in hell for it, but you ought to think about when you are close to him, you put some thought into what you do. You just don't let your flesh lead.
No, sir.
How do I know? Because that's the only way I make it. Just that simple. Lord have mercy. 5. Let's go there. We can get down to 10. We'll be through for today. All right? Because there's a lot more we got to kind of bring into this so you begin to get the picture. It's so much in draw nigh to God. Woo! As if you're about him. Now listen. 5th verse. And the heavens shall praise thy wonders. You ought to realize sometimes the earth just praises itself to what God's doing. See, I don't understand, but it does.
Yes.
I'm serious. I've seen it. When I was taking pictures a whole lot, I'll be out photographing a flower and that rascal closed. And the minute I put the lens on it, it opens up. And I get a good picture. And I got a few awards for that, too.
Yes.
I just think it was me. No, it's not me. It's God. His wonders. Have you just looked at things? And the earth is letting you know how great our God is.
Yes.
When you see a beautiful flower, that's them praising God for making them who they are. Oh, how come we don't do that? Hmm? If you're good enough for God, but now the world said, no, you got to get artificial breasts, you got to get artificial hips, you got to take this, you got to put guns, you got to shoot collagen in your lip, you got to do all that stuff. But God said, come as you are. I hope I ain't nobody's business now, but I'm just telling you. Don't let anybody take that joy from you. You have beauty, whether the world acknowledges it or not, better than anybody has. Because God has a distinct purpose for you. And if you don't let the world distract you from it, you will achieve beauty and calmness and peace because you're about him. Are you going to have some folks get on your case? Who cares? A whole lot of folks don't like me because they don't like me. I don't care. I love him. They can talk all they want to as long as they don't run up in my face. And I don't overload their donkeys, and I try not to. I mean, I'll try to be as hospitable as I can. And the heavens shall praise thy work, O Lord, thy faithfulness also in the congregations of the saints. The congregation of the saints ought to praise God. Why? Because you see his glory. Look how bright that sun is out there. See what I'm saying? Everybody talking about what the sun and ozone doing to us. God's got everything under control. Sun as bright as it can be. It'll just knock the edge off the cold, but he ain't going to change that cold. He got a reason for it. I'm about through, y'all. I don't. Listen. 6. For who in the heavens can be compared unto the Lord Yahweh? What's up there? Nothing. Don't let nobody get you worshiping angels. You know it's angel worship out there? Rather than, well, I don't want to worship Christ because that ain't too cool, but I'll worship angels. I'm not lying to you. I hear that. Why do you think all the movies came out about angels? And where that one crazy, I ain't going to call the name. You just walk around, hey, you know, I forgot his name. They know what I'm talking about. I understand that. Now, a lot of folks flip out. But Satan is also up in hell. And Michael is guarding that right. Just read Revelation 12. He's going to kick him out one day. He can't win. But you can't even compare him to God. Nothing. No man, nothing in the heaven. All the stars up there. He said, but don't worry about them. I got them. I've named every one of them. And man can't even fathom the difference of it. Every time they come up with a theory, it gets blown out of the water. It's quite amusing how one guy would interpret that, put up these little things, say, well, if you look at the earth this way, it is 6 days old, but now that's because you're looking at it linear, but when you flip it up, you're seeing all the circles around it, and then it'll appear that it's billions of years old. Oh, that sounds good. I don't need all of that. I'm about him. Whatever he tells me, good enough for me. I know I can't make no earth. I know I can't make no big bang. We have a creator. But you hear all that stuff. Yeah, perhaps like to watch science. They tickle me at times. All right, let's keep on going. Listen. For the heavens, who can compare unto the Lord? Who among the sons of the mighty can be likened unto the Lord? Yes, he's talking about the Kenites. If you study the big men like the Goliaths and all of that, those, because they're big and bad and they got you scared or whatever, they can't touch him. He made them. He can punch their lights out anytime he wants to. Okay? Don't let nothing be compared to God. If you with him and you learning about him as he's asked and you looking at his glory and go try to balance it against the glory of somebody down here, I don't care if they got 50 million cars. They still can't compare with God. God got some toys up there that blow your mind. By God. Yes, babies, the Lord have toys too. I don't want to get you. Balance it against the